following announcement has been paid for.
Smart audio.
If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper.
That was funky.
That shit bang, though. Broad Street Cyber Bullies in the house for the Extreme Retro Review for ECW. July 1st, 1995. This is Hardcore Heaven, 95 edition. It's Extreme Retro Review number 135.
Oh shit, the big 135. We're one short of the big milestone, the big 136.
Your thoughts and views and all that shit, I gotta do my opening salvo.
You don't have to, Fooch.
For the miscue of my goofing crime. We were supposed to do Mountaintop Madness and Hardcore Heaven in a double shot last week. But here we are doing the triple shots because we'll be doing the clip shows following this one.
Yay.
So as I had to remind him this whole week, I gave him the following text message.
Oh, man.
This is your announcement to watch the following shows. Hardcore Heaven 1995, ECW Hardcore TV July 4th, 1995. ECW Hardcore TV, July 11th, 1995. The preceding announcement has been your message for the aforementioned shows. Thank you. So I knew he wasn't gonna fucking play me and say, oh man, I was geeked. Or, oh man, I was at some Pony Poon. Oh man, I couldn't get my tongue out this girl's butt.
I don't eat groceries, for the record.
So when I texted him, I said, have you watched the shows? Or I called him, we was talking and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it was very rare. I said, hey, did you watch the shows? And he says, no. He says, it's going to be kind of hard to watch the shows with only 30 minutes, before you get here. I should note it took him an hour and 15 minutes to get here. He says, well, I guess you got to do what you got to do or something like that.
No, that is not what I said. I said when you ask silly questions, you get silly answers.
To which I replied, that's why I continued with the silly. And you said, what was that? And like a dumbass, I repeated it. He put it over, though. So I counted. Kobe.
Well, I appreciate that because I have a very hard time sometimes hearing things on the cell phone. It's the main reason why I prefer to text and shit.
I'm not one of your whores.
No, man, no, absolutely not. Because 2 years later, I'm still here. Hey-oh!
What were your thoughts and views of the show?
This show, especially coming off of Mountaintop Madness, I realized why there will never be a part of a ECW fan that will get along with a WWF fan or WCW or whatever, vice versa. Cause for motherfuckers to be into this shit, like at this point we're doing a big show and then showing that to you over again. And then on top of that, so this show was roughly 2 hours long and shit. I didn't count the matches, but for 2 hours it wasn't that many, and it seemed like it had a lot of filler. But I thought it was okay. There was a good match on there and shit. Once you start doing the review, I'll tell you which match that is and shit. But I don't know, just it kind of felt like this was the first show that felt like a homework assignment, probably because it was kind of just like Mountaintop Madness all over again, and what was that, a day before?
Yes.
So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but yeah, it wasn't all that to me.
I'm gonna say this: what I wrote and what I watched on repeated viewing is in stark contrast. And I think your review is going to be in line with what I originally wrote. Okay. Not with how I feel now after rewatching the show in preparation for the review.
Okay. That'll be interesting.
So we immediately start with an old school Raw's War intro type of thing with the multiple words per second.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it started like right in like the 97, 98, Raw's War intro. So opening up, we have
hardcore heaven.
The Pit Bulls with Beulah and the newly crowned ECW World Tag Team Champions Raven and Stevie Richards versus the Dudley Brothers, comprising of Little Snot Dudley and Dudley Dudley. They also have Big Dick in their corner. Dudley Boy's debut.
Oh, man.
And not the guys you know.
Right. With the origins of the Dudley family and shit.
I should note that on numerous, pretty much every shoot interview that Raven has ever done, he will cite that he created the Dudley Boys.
Nice.
You can check that out on the Extreme Project if ever I get back to it.
Do you give any credence to that claim?
Oh no, Bubba Ray has gone on in his shoot interview and said that Raven pretty much created the gimmick.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
Stevie is now dubbed the Clueless Putz by Joey Styles, as he has his fans because there are signs in the crowd for the Dancing Stevie fan club.
Yeah, I saw that. That was goofy as shit.
All the intensity in the world cannot mask the fact that the Pit Bulls are very tiny. Little Snot and Dudley are like towering over these guys.
Oh man, they are. And they're like normal sized wrestlers though.
I get my number one kick with theatrics, so I'm good with it. The Dudley Boys are beat up guys. Let me make a correction. Little Snot gets absolutely nothing in this match. Dudley gets the fuck over in this match. He goes toe-to-toe with the Pit Bulls during this match, and the fans respond to it, and I'm like, oh shit, Dudley. All right, cool. Stevie gets a kiss from his rat at ringside. Beulah starts to fight the rat. Raven grabs Stevie and Beulah by the hair, and all three powder. There's a super bomb on Little Snot Dudley, but Dudley squared KO's number 2 reverses the pin for the win. I gave it 1 star. They show a replay. HW thoughts.
My favorite part of the match was when Beulah started fighting with Stevie's ring rat and shit. The girl-on-girl fight action. Outside of that, I was bored to tears. I won't say I was all the way bored to tears because I kind of gave a fuck once I found out, like, oh shoot, these are the Dudley Brothers. Joey, I believe, said Dudley, or he said, oh, my sheet says Dudley Boys.
It was Geek Ortiz. He's a fucking geek. Getting shit wrong all the time, but that's part of his charm.
Oh man, so but you introduced him as the Dudley Brothers as well.
Right, for continuity's sake.
Oh, okay. Well, very nice. So yeah, that was the interesting part. But outside of that, it was my favorite part was Stevie making out with the bitch, Beulah fighting the bitch, and then Raven once again dragging these motherfuckers off like 2 kittens and shit by their necks off to the back and shit. And then the pit bulls getting irritated about it.
Joey's at ringside for a post-match Pitbull promo, and they're pissed. Number 1 is tired of the 2 W's. Number 2 says, undependable and unreliable. Number 1 starts saying, there's going to be a change coming. They're tired of that queer Stevie Richards. Raven is supposed to be watching our back, but he's too busy watching Stevie's back, implying that he's butt fucking Stevie Richards. I said, are you jealous?
Oh man, but they did get screwed over, in the match against the Dudleys, so I could see why they would be pissed that nobody's watching watching their back and shit.
There's gonna be a change, and then they storm off. We have Devious Donnie Allen and Dino Sendoff teaming up to go against Chad Autism and the Broad Street Bully, the fashion plate of ECW, Tony the Hitman Stetson.
I dubbed this the why the fuck match of the night.
The crowd chants, you all suck dick. And it's terrible until 911 comes out and chokeslams them all. Joey buries WCW Slamboree 1995, and Paulie struts into the ring. The crowd chants that they want 10 chokeslams. So we get a double chokeslam on Devious Donnie Allen and Chad Autism. Paulie welcomes them to the ECW Arena. I said Devious has been in the promotion longer than you, Paulie.
Oh, shit, nice.
Paulie cuts a promo talking about how he wants Bill Alfonso. And Bill Alfonso cautiously stares from the curtain in the back. Your thoughts?
The best part of the shit was fucking 911 coming out. At first I was very annoyed when I saw it was going to be a fucking tag match involving Chad Autism and Dino Sendoff. And who was the other dude? Tony Stetson. I'm sorry, the Broad Street Bully. Yeah, it's time to hang it up, Hitman. So, and then now I'm in. And I ain't gonna lie, so once 911 came out, my wrestling brain, it clicked and made sense. But then the other part of my wrestling brain was like, well, this is the best thing they can do with 911. But at the same time, I guess the chokeslam is his gimmick. Cheap pop for the crowd. Get the 4 jobbers on the show and shit.
So next we got Big Val Puccio versus The Shy in a match. H-Dub, your thoughts on Big Val Puccio?
I'm surprised he hasn't died from a heart attack by now. He is like he is short and 500 pounds. Like he looks like he's 5'3", and if he is he you think he's a legit 500 pounds, or is he just like 350 and they over?
Oh, there's no way he's 350. He's definitely in the upper 400s.
Oh man, yeah. How his heart can continuously pump blood through that fatty body is freaking miraculous. Like, the human body is an amazing thing.
The crowd chants, "You fat fuck." Into a long stall. I have to say, technically, this match was the shits.
Yeah.
But Big Valley worked his match. He didn't fucking waver. He talked shit to the crowd.
Yeah.
The crowd was pulling out toilet paper. They were waddling in the crowd. They were getting on this motherfucker, and he did not stumble. He took a little bit too long to do his moves, just to soak in that extra heat. But it kind of flipped into the boring, type deal. But for a moment, the motherfuckers was riding with him for the right reason.
He was moving slow so his heart wouldn't explode.
Fat ass takes 90% of the match. Couple of hope spots. Fat fuck misses an elbow. Shock lays an arm on him and gets the dub because the tub of goo is too fat to get up. Negative infinity. Lardo gets up with the quickness of a jungle cat and splashes him twice. I have to say, the heat the fat boy got was very surprising because he sucks. He went over on Shah and he worked his match and post-match. I bumped it up to a dud. HW thoughts?
Terrible all the way around. But there's no denying that the crowd is behind Hack, and I think some of that extra heat that you saw was just due to the fact that they are so into Hack Myers and shit, or Shaw. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter who he's wrestling, when he's punching, it's Shaw. And then whenever his opponent is getting off, it's shit. So, you know what I'm saying? They be into it. So I think some of it was that. Outside of that, it was... I guess it made sense it would have made sense if they had Hack, really whoop his ass and shit. Like, they had Mikey kick this motherfucker in the nuts 2,000 times and shit, and then DDT him for the win and shit. Like, they just kind of seemed like Hack got lucky falling on this motherfucker, and then he still got his ass whooped afterwards, So
next we have Taz with Paulie versus Too Cold Scorpio in a match. Initially, I said this was largely forgettable. But then I started to understand the Too Cold Scorpio heel turn. See, back in an Extreme Retro Review number, whichever, when Taz and Too Cold Scorpio teamed up in a handicap match between Raven and the Pitbulls, they were contesting against each other onto who got the pin. Too Cold Scorpio really wanted the pin.
Okay.
So, Too Cold Scorpio is basically like, I'm better than you, Taz. So this is more of a one-upsmanship, and he turns heel this way.
Nice.
This time, upon repeated watching, I like the match now that I understand the Too Cold Scorpio character motivation tick. So, when he's doing the moves and everything, like he's jaw-jacking to the crowd, you know what I'm saying? And everything is high impact. There's really no chain wrestling going on. It's just big move after big move. Taz is doing his suplexes, and he's blocking the suplex at the beginning of the match. But ultimately, he gets his fucking Tazplex off or whatever. But Scorpio is hitting him with a vast different array of moves. You know what I'm saying? He's hitting him with his own type of suplexes. He's hitting him with super kicks. He's doing flips outside. And he hits the motherfucker with a picture-perfect tumbleweed. And gets up on one. But when I first watched this shit, I was like, "Oh, this nigga's fucking getting up again. He's pulling up on two. You know how I use get down on two Cold Scorpio, pulling up on two, fucking up the floor of the match and shit. But now that I get this shit as a heel, it translates better. You know what I'm saying? Because now he's like, I'm better than you, Taz. I can hit this motherfucking tumbleweed." Pick up on, pull up on one, do a motherfucking dance. But what he didn't realize was Taz completely no-selling the tumbleweed. Taz plexing this motherfucker out his boots. And then, what the fuck happened? Tuco Scorpio turned heel at Mountaintop Madness, recounted by us, Extreme Retro Review number 134. Bill Alfonso comes out to restart the match, because Tuco Scorpio's foot was on the ropes.
That's right.
During the pin.
Earth 37 rejoiced.
If a wrestler touches Bill Alfonso, he will shut the promotion down.
Bill ain't fucking around with y'all.
Paulie gets in the ring, starts to protest, and he's talking about, "You said a wrestler can't touch you." And he's like, "Yes, you finally understand." He says, "You sure a wrestler can't touch you?" Bill Alfonso like, "Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah, no wrestler can't touch me." Paulie then turns his hat around, talks about, "Guess what? I'm not a fucking wrestler, and I'm about to kick your fucking ass." Tuco Scorpio comes back in the ring, chairs Taz in the back. Bill Alfonso decks Paulie. He goes to the ground. Bill Alfonso restarts the match. Tuco Scorpio puts the chair on Taz's face. Leg drop from the top rope for the win. I give it a 1. HW thoughts?
Oh man, I thought not only this was easily the best match of the night and shit, but like I thought this was a pretty good match, especially with the I didn't look at it as far as with the nuances you did as far as the Too Cold heel turn and shit, but it felt like it made sense him playing heel to Taz or whatnot. I just thought it was a pretty, I don't want to call it a good is too mild, great is too strong, somewhere in the middle of good and great is how I felt about this match, and I really enjoyed it.
So we have Joey in the ring to formally start the show. He shields the hotline, speculating Shane's impending jump to New York. Shane then comes out for a promo in his yellow biker shorts. And he starts to ramble about his entire ECW career and tenure.
Oh boy, yeah.
The crowd chants, "Shane is dead. Woo," and "We want Flair." Shane then stops his promo.
Yeah, but
calls out Flair one more time, talking about he's called him out for the last 2 years, and that piece of shit wouldn't answer his calls.
that's when the promo got good.
He had a point. He speaks about Joey's yellow journalism. I said LOL because Shane wears yellow. And wants to set the record straight. He talks about coming up with Cactus Jack, and he rambles some more. Woman comes out in her sequin blue dress.
Oh yeah, rest in peace.
She tells him that Shane Douglas cannot leave ECW because you're going to join her and the ECW World Heavyweight Champion, the Sandman.
Why on earth would Shane do that?
He gives woman 2/3 of a compliment sandwich by saying that she's the most voluptuous woman he has ever been with, but she's also the most cold-hearted bitch he has ever seen.
Why was that so offensive? Does Joey shit his pants like he called her a cunt or something?
Woman then slaps Shane Douglas. Shane stalks woman in revenge until the Sandman saves a hoe. Cactus Jack comes out, and he gets... Cactus Jack comes out, and it gets more convoluted. Shane starts talking about having a match. It's 15 minutes of complete blah. H-Dub, your thoughts?
15 minutes of complete block, completely sums up how I particularly felt about it. Well, except, no, I ain't gonna say it. It was boring until the crowd started chanting, "We want Flair," and then Shane said what he said about calling the motherfucker out for 2 years. I'm like, okay, that's what's up. Oh, and then wasn't there a part when a woman was out there and the crowd was chanting,
oh, Shane's got a Woody.
yeah. Oh shit! I was like, that shit was kind of funny because that, first of all, is fucked up that the crowd is fucking looking at that nigga junk and shit. Second of all, it is kind of funny that they would call him out on it and shit. Because, you know, who knows how any man would react being in the presence of the voluptuous woman.
We have an intergender tag team match. Raven and Stevie with Beulah McGillicuddy versus Tommy, Dreamer, and Luna Vachon for the ECW World Tag Team titles. Tommy's hand is all bandaged up. It's a wild brawl around the ring. The action early on is focused on Stevie and Luna. Raven and Dreamer do stuff up the aisle. Innovative offense with an ironing board, an antenna, pots and pans, sadly no Johnny, and a newspaper dispenser. Testicular claw by Luna. The double DDT got 2. And shake my head. She kicked out. She kicked out. She kicked out. Raven gets caught in the ropes, a la Andre the Giant, and he gets chaired in a receipt from earlier when Raven hit Tommy as he was saving himself for Luna.
That was kind of cool.
Luna with a sloppy float over suplex from the second rope. Shout out to Barry Windham. Into the pinning combination, Beulah comes in with the age-old powder gimmick. Stevie with the missionary pin for the win. I gave it 3 stars for the innovative offense. H-Dub, your thoughts?
I was intrigued because that obviously, so they were calling this an intergender match and shit, and then, like, Luna is, I guess, technically a female and shit, and her counterpart is Stevie Richards and shit, which the ECW affectionately refers to as faggot time and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought that was interesting. Like, you know, and she does seem kind of manly in some ways and shit. And Stevie's definitely, you know, acting bitch made and shit.
Rest in peace, Luna Vachon.
Oh, she's dead? Damn, another one's gone and shit. Rest in peace.
Todd's in the ring, and he calls out troubleshooting referee Bill Alfonso. Alfonso comes out and hops over the ring and extends his hand to Todd in a gesture of kindness and sportsmanship.
What a hell of a gentleman. Way to go, Bill Alfonso.
Todd blows him off.
What a ass.
Since Bill Alfonso wants to be a referee in ECW so badly, he's going to referee a match with no rules. Bill Alfonso has no problem refereeing any match in ECW.
Yeah, Bill is a true professional.
Todd tells Geek Ortiz to call the match. Geek Ortiz comes to announce the Taipei Death Match, otherwise known as the final battle of the bad breed.
Oh shit, yes. Finally it comes to an end because, oh my goodness, because yes, oh man, I was so angry watching this match, especially since for a while I had been fast forwarding it through them and stuff, and you asked me to make sure I watched both bad breed matches, and I watched this motherfucker, and I am glad it is the last one, I'll just say.
Both guys come out, they have taped fists, and glued to them is shards of glass. My stomach is getting queasy already thinking about it.
Ooh.
The Rottens circle each other, and Axel hits Ian, and he gigs on camera. It could be scar tissue at this point, who knows? And a trickle of blood comes out. Bill Alfonso checks the cut, grabs the mic, and says he knows that there are no rules in this match, but he's being the ECW referee. Due to the excessive blood loss of Ian Rotten, he's going to stop the match. You should be happy he's here.
I was happy he was there. I'm like, once again, thank God for Bill Alfonso, because right place, right time, right person, because I knew, like, you let a motherfucking, you can call it a Taipei match, you can call it the last of the bad breed match or whatever. I call it glass on tape on a fist match. And that is a recipe for bad business. And with these two motherfuckers who always want to bleed as much as they can and shit, I guess it'd be a contest to see who can outbleed the other one without dying.
Yeah. Vampire match.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Blood bag on a pole match.
And then I was trying not to be too hard because it is called Hardcore Heaven. But I'm glad this was the last one. And yeah, this motherfucker got ugly quick. So thank you, Bill Alfonso, for trying to do everything in your power to keep it from getting to what it got to.
Bill Alfonso, see you at the Sullies.
Absolutely.
The fans are pissed.
I don't know why.
The Public Enemy and the Gangstas are brawling outside in the aisleway. Bill Alfonso and some geek security guards go to break up the fight and escort the tag teams to the back. Todd Gordon then grabs the mic, gets in the ring, and says, is Bill Alfonso not here? Is Bill Alfonso not here? Well, let's start the Taipei Death Match.
Fuck you, Todd. Fuck you.
It's the usual bad breed match.
Fuck you.
It did nothing for either's careers. Ian is completely disgusting by the end of this match. I should note that he had a Cactus Jack t-shirt on. Ian pulls out thumbtacks and by wrestling logic gets backdropped on his own thumbtacks and splashed by Axel for the win. I give it a dud. The early storyline helped, but for the sake of continuity,
thank you for torturing me. I give it F for fuck you. For making me watch this shit. Yeah, but I watched it and it's just like that. This is what. So yeah, it's been a lot of occasions where I've heard the fans chant, "We want blood, we want blood," and these fuckers probably have a lot to do with it. And I can just only imagine that these motherfuckers must have been in nirvana. They must have been in ecstasy. They must have been in pure jubilation at the end of this match with these motherfuckers looking like shredded hamburger, just leaking all over the place and shit. Like they must have been on cloud motherfucking 9, drawers filled with jizz, dead Muslim in heaven with the 50 virgins or whatever that shit is. No disrespect to
72 virgins.
72, yeah. But it must have been on par with all of that.
We're back with Luna and Stevie and Raven and Dreamer. Raven cheat shots the hand of Dreamer and they double team Luna. They call out the pit bulls and Stevie wants the super bomb. So they go to Dreamer. But Stevie wants Luna to be super bombed. Number 2 sets up, but number 1 goes back to Dreamer. Stevie insists they super bomb Luna Vachon. Number one's like, nah. So Stevie mushes number one in the face. Raven chairs Pitbull number two. Face turn complete as they beat up the tag team champions. They double suplex Raven and set Stevie up for the super bomb. But the Dudley Brothers return to fight the Pitbulls, Raven and Dreamer, Stevie and Luna again. Raven is off doing his poses as the Dudley boys are beating up on the Pitbulls. Dreamer crashes through the wall of the ECW Arena. Joey mentions it was done before at Ultra Clash. Recounted by us, Extreme Retro Review number 26. They fight to the broadcast booth and the Pitbulls and make the save until the Dudley Brothers come back again to start the melee. After the fight, Dreamer makes number one help number two hoist Luna up while Dreamer poses for the ECW Arena. Your thoughts?
Oh, I was all for most of that shit until they hoisted up Luna like she was some motherfucking hero or something, like she was Rocky or something. Outside of that, I don't know. It's interesting that I guess Raven and Stevie are more closer than it would appear and shit. That once he mushed Pitbull number one, he instantly went after number two and shit.
Hitting that nigga followed up, and that nigga saved his lackey.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that's
I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah, so it was interesting to peep the dynamic and shit. What I don't understand is why he keeps getting involved when why Beulah and then Raven keep getting involved when Stevie just trying to get them a little action with his ring rat and shit.
Because Raven doesn't allow it. It's only deemed so if Raven allows it. Raven doesn't allow the outside rats.
Interesting. Okay.
So we have a world title match. I think it's a weapons match, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, ain't no telling.
Sandman with Woman versus Cactus Jack, part 1 million.
That sounds like you were sick of it at this point also.
This feud is complex, but I'm burned out by Hack and Jack by this point. After barbed wire, what the fuck do you do? Franny's no selling Sandman's interests, LOL. The champ also coming out first is a pet peeve of mine.
Me too, my brother.
Hack early with the cane shots and athleticism. Jack has a barbed wire gauntlet, but uses the cane in a chair. What the fuck is the point of the barbed wire fist?
Decoration.
Aesthetics? Is woman's...
Oh, shit.
I got a question for you, Hot Stuff.
Yes, sir.
Is woman's gimmick purposely to be terrible with the cane?
It must be, because that is like she gets over by screwing over her person that she's managing with the cane and shit.
She throws some of the weakest cane shots known to mankind. Shout out to Mick Foley.
Well, she might not want any receipts either.
Usual shit from these two. Hack takes 80% of this match. Cactus is a practice dummy. Woman brings out some barbed wire. Her cell is completely cute as she dangles the barbed wire in front of her. And when she gives it to Sandman, she checks her fingers for cuts.
Smart woman.
Sandman wraps himself inside barbed wire and hits some stinger splashes. Shout out to 93, Mr. Sandman. And a terrible snooker superfly splash. Jack with some shine, but it's obvious he ain't winning the ECW World Heavyweight title at this point. Woman with another weak cane shot to Jack, and she finally takes a bump. I give that 1 star. Jack breaks the cane, but Sandman saves and bumps him, Jack, and Finnegan. Shane Douglas with the run-in. He pile drives Hack, grabs the microphone, and mentions what he said earlier about giving Sandman the wrestling lesson of his life. I thought it was a fucking match. Keep your friends closer and your enemies right by your side. He decks Jack with the broken cane to the eye. Hack lays on top of him for the win. I gave it 1.5 stars. HW, thoughts before I get to the post-match?
I didn't get the freaking point of Shane. I guess so. His real bigger beef is with Cactus, his best friend, on his way to the WWF. That particular part didn't make sense to me. It did tickle me when fucking Sandman put the barbed wire on himself and Stinger splashed Cactus Jack. That was kind of funny. It had a few interesting points, few interesting parts of the match, despite it being like part 1000. And like you said earlier, where do you go from a barbed wire match and shit? Yeah, here we are. So, but you know, it's, I don't know, here and there, hit and miss.
Shane tells the arena to kiss his ass. He's out of here. Damage Control comes out to tend to Cactus Jack as Todd comes back out. And as Todd comes back out, he wants Finnegoof to reverse or restart the match. I don't know. Just do his fucking job. He goes back and forth with Shane, who says he'll stay in ECW only if Todd gets on his knees and asks. Todd then pauses, yet gets on his knees and publicly fires Shane from ECW. Shane lays the boots to Todd Gordon until 911 comes out for the chokeslam. Troubleshooting referee Bill Alfonso consoles Shane to the back. The post-match was a 5, so we split for 3. I should note that Mullinope and Finnegoof were also in the fracas, as well as Devious Donnie Allen and Dino Sendoff trying to stop Shane from his rampage of Todd Gordon, but they got summarily dismissed.
Man, Paul is really getting his $10 worth out of Donnie Allen and Dino Sendoff.
Your thoughts of Shane's exit of ECW?
For a person of Shane Douglas's stature, I can understand why they would want to kind of have him in an angle that's kind of a big deal and shit. But I think the execution was just terrible and poor, and the fucking, where the 10-minute plus fucking segments of him just going on and on was just too much. I think it could have been done much, much better. But I understand why they allotted so much time to it. It's a thumbs down on the execution.
So we have the main event grudge match. Personally, I have to say I've been waiting for this match. Public Enemy versus the Gangstas. White people being out of sync is forever LOL. As the Public Enemy come out to Here Comes the Hot Stepper.
Like, how hard is it to catch the side to side? You're either going left or right. And if you're going to do it with everybody else, then get in motherfucking sequence. Get in line with the first 3 people, because I guarantee you the first 3 people who started doing it, they was going, here comes the hot stepper, murderer, left, right. And then probably, where do you think it got fucked up at? How many people in do you think before, like, somebody started fucking it up, or like somebody was just like, fuck it, you think it was on purpose? Like, I'm gonna go opposite.
One. Come on. These goofballs have no rhythm. And the bad part about it is, these are the same goofballs that have said a chant saying, Alfonso takes it up the ass, doo-dah, doo-dah.
They can get in harmony with that shit.
And these motherfuckers cannot wave their arms from side to side in unison. This is a gaggle fuck of goofs.
Oh, shit.
Johnny gets the crowd hot with a quick promo. But when the Gangstas come out, the complete mood shifts. Shane leaves, click. This promotion has basically been rebooted. This is the promotion now.
Oh, shit, maybe that's what I was picking up on, too, and shit, on what I said earlier.
The Public Enemy largely beat nobodies in 1993 and 94. Shout out to the Fugees of those respective years. You get better. But the Gangstas are a different breed. They can match promo for promo, violence for violence, and New Jack's intensity when he's walking out to the ring with the song, it's like, this shit is on. These motherfuckers are here to fight. They came out with these long-ass Raider coats. They got the bandanas over their face and over their head. They over here barking to the crowd. They yelling at the big fat black security guard and shit. And they just get to whipping each other's ass for like 10 minutes.
I hate to say this, but like, if I was in the library and I'm on the computer and shit, and New Jack just walked in, like how he was walking down to the ring, but like he just walked into the library, and like 6 undercover library security just swarmed and tackled him for apparently no reason, just for the fact he walked in there and shit, I probably wouldn't have a problem with that.
In 1995, the Public Enemy faced Sabu and the Tasmaniac, the Resurging Pit Bulls, the Crippler, and the Shooter. And now they're facing the Gangsta. Rocco with the Capital Crime underneath the broadcast booth. New Jack and Johnny Grunge, double juice in the ring. I see a RSPW keyboard and inflatable bats with said lettering on them. RSPW was Rec Sports Pro Wrestling. It was an early internet message board back in the 90s.
Oh, interesting.
Shout out to the fat man, Scott Keith.
Oh, man. What's up, fat man?
There's a wrestling move. A power slam. OG sign guy with a sign. It says, "We want a lynching." Wow. But it doesn't hold it up high enough because he's a pussy. There's a Capital Crime in the ring on New Jack by Rocco Rock. It should have finished the match, but a mallet to Mustafa's head by Rocco off the top rope does the job for the Gangstas.
See, I don't know. Maybe it's just a difference in opinion, but it seemed like he should be saying it does the job for Public Enemy because they were the beneficiaries of the move, so it seems like it would do the job for them as opposed to the Gangstas. But in terms of wrestling, I get where you're coming from.
I gave it 3 stars. I'm not a fan of heels losing on their first night in, but they've gotten over via Mountaintop Madness and the beatdown at Barbed Wires, Hoodies, and Chokeslams, recounted by us, Extreme Retro Review number 131. They keep fighting up the aisle as the music plays, LOL. Public Enemy comes back for the post-match. The house party has begun, and they invite fans into the ring. I bump it up to a 4. They are completely tired as they wave their arms from side to side as fans get into the ring. And they show the dregs of society as Philly's finest get into the ring and litter and skittle around as they continue the house party. One guy tripped into the ring trying to climb through the ropes. I laughed my ass off. HW, your thoughts of the match and post-match shenanigans.
You could tell he was super excited and shit. Yeah, I was with you on. I felt like the wrong team won the match and shit. The freaking. I get like Public Enemy is probably the most over of anybody in ECW. Next would probably be 911, I'm guessing. But I just don't get the appeal. Like, I mean, they have a decent move set. And is it because the people were really into Here Comes the Hot Stepper? Back then, is it Hot Stepper or High Stepper?
Hot Stepper.
Okay. Yeah, what is it because they were really feeling that song back then, and then like they just wanted a reason to wave side to side off beat? And
I mean, we've recounted it on the Extreme Retro Reviews. I mean, they beat Bad Company. They beat Devil and Tasmaniac. They beat the Lunkheads. They beat Bad Company again.
They also fuck dudes in jail. They also think Joey Styles is cute or whatever the fuck. They seem like they came from the Terry Funk school of sexuality because they're gay. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's keep a full view of the picture here.
I mean, I'm just saying that the Public Enemy has been there the entire time. They started there, and they got over, and you've seen their heel shenanigans. You've seen everything that the Public Enemy has done.
Oh, and I forgot the annoying promo sometimes. Like, oh, yeah, Rocco,
But don't forget about them in dresses.
I tried to forget about them in dresses.
Or their terrible Superman promos.
Yeah, they need to leave my name alone.
Or going to the Double Cross Ranch.
Well, I told you they went to the Terry Funk school of sexuality because they're gay.
But you've seen their entire career. So you have, I mean, the ECW audience, I'm sure, can appreciate what the Public Enemy has done in these. Universe. So it's just like, I mean, it's basically the Invaders, and they came from another promotion. So, I mean, it's the Invaders versus the Hometown Boys. You know? So I can see why the Public Enemy went over, but I'm typically not a fan of heels losing their first night in. But they got over. So, like I said, so to do the house party, a fan trips in the ring, they yell ECW to close the show. Overall, for historical purposes only, always watch ECW Supercards if you can obtain them. It's 2018. You have the internet. Upon first viewing, I said the first half was completely awful, but I've grown an affinity towards it. It picks up after Shane rambles. Matches delivered. Stories progressed. The main event was a feel-good moment. It gives me, it's a thumbs up for me. But I want to talk, I mean, farewell Shane. Exit Shane, you know? Like, Shane has done a lot for this fucking company. So during his rambling, I mean, there was a lot of points that he made that were, like, really poignant. You know? Like, he put the company on his back. I mean, it was a combination of Terry Funk, the living legend, giving him the rub.
Oh, gosh.
And it was also Sabu, you know, saying a mixture of those three. And also the Public Enemy, you know what I'm saying? But you know, by and large, Shane was, you know, the focal point of this company. You know, the evolution of Sandman happened within that wave. Tommy Dreamer's acceptance by the hardcore fans was you know, in that wave. They weren't the catalyst that drove the company. Shane Douglas is the driving force of this company, and now he's leaving.
Absolutely. The only part that I would have a little twinge of disagreement with you on is that he got the rub from Terry Funk. Actually, as the second to last member of the greatest faction in professional wrestling, Hot Stuff International, founded by my hero, my mentor, and the leader of Hot Stuff International, the King of Philadelphia, the one, the only, the late, great Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. He gave Shane Douglas the rub back when he was still calling himself fabulous Shane Douglas. And that was also when he won his first world championship, if I am not mistaken. And so I don't think Terry Funk gave him anything. I give all the credit to the great Eddie Gilbert.
In a few days, we're going to do the post shows for Hardcore Heaven 1995. First up, Independence Day, July 4th, 1995 show. Until then, life is a work. Make sure you get paid for it. We out. Peace.
Peace.